Waiting for the live feature to happen. There we go. Let's see, we have the it is here. What? Oh, I don't know how it should look there. So I'm about to bring y'all in. Let's see what happens. It shows you waiting. I'm going to bring everyone in. I'm just missing McBride. Good morning. I'm Judge Person. I welcome everybody to the court this morning, and we're meeting virtually, which is helpful, and it is by agreement. Therefore, if you wish to cancel this hearing and meet here in person, we can accommodate that. You'll need to let me know. I just assume that folks appreciate this convenience, but we do have live court as an option. I do want to let everybody know that a couple of things before we get started about how things move through a courtroom. But Mr. Matson, Mr. Swain, I'm going to go ahead and release the two of you to meet since I know that you both are familiar with the drill. So I believe y'all are meeting on the Erica Polzine case. Okay, I will move y'all over to that meeting. So just to be let everybody know a few things that I think can be important. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. And when you give a plea, you're giving your answer or response to that accusation. There are three options for pleading. They are guilty, not guilty, and no contest. If you plead guilty, you're admitting the offense and you're moving forward with sentencing. If you plead no contest, you're not admitting or denying the offense, but you are moving forward with sentencing. I'll talk about sentencing in a moment. And if you plead not guilty, you're basically saying the state needs to prove the case against me. Therefore, you are moving toward trial. And really, with the exception of a couple of cases, the cases today are folks who are heading toward that trial option. I do want to, however, let you know how things are dismissed in a Class C court. So this is a Class C court. That means that the cases here that are filed here are Class C misdemeanor offenses. They don't result in the imposition of jail time. The only time that persons have jail as a possibility for them is if they default on a judgment or fail to show up for court. And so you don't need to do that, first of all. The other thing I want to talk about is really just the way the law works in this type of court. So if you plead guilty or no contest, the default is the conviction is entered, you pay the fines and costs. Now, payment of fines of costs are can be based on income. I can look at people's income in connection with sentencing. And I could make adjustments at that point based on hardship, things that are happening for folks that are individualized. So I can do that if I have enough of a record to go on to make those determinations. So if at any point we're looking at that, I look at that information at that point. I also look at income information in relation to scheduling a bond for the cases. In other words, if you've pleaded not guilty, at a certain point, we're talking about posting a bond for trial. And I look at income for that reason. So those are really two different things, but the information is the same. So I just collect it all on one form so that people aren't filling out multiple forms with the same information. There's really no point in doing that. So you may have been asked to provide that information, and I do like to just, address the reason why that would have happened. Okay, so then the other thing I want to talk about is my first statement is a person who pleads guilty or no contest, or if they're found guilty at trial, the item goes on their record. If a person pleads guilty or no contest, there are still 4 ways to gain a dismissal in a court like this one. And let me just explain how those work. So those are compliance dismissals. I'll talk about it in a moment. Driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court. Compliance dismissals are things that the law says can be brought up to date and dismissed. Those are things like sometimes there's, a faulty tire, it's a bald tire, or a broken headlamp. And if you're cited for that defective equipment violation, you can get a dismissal by paying a $10 dismissal fee and proving that the matter has been brought up to date. And that is known as a compliance dismissal. And on a plea of guilty or no contest, I automatically look and see if it's an option. The second way of gaining a dismissal is through a driver safety course. That would be for moving violations to keep those violations off your record. You have to qualify to be in the program, then you have to complete it properly. And on a plea of guilty or no contest, I look and see if you're qualified. And I automatically do those 2 options that way, because the language of the law really says that the judge should look for that. So that's appropriate for me to do. On the third option is called a deferred disposition. And a deferred means delay. Disposition is to make it final. I delay making it final. I put an order in place. That order is in place, and it lists the things that need to be done in order for me to sign a dismissal. They usually run about anywhere from 90 to 180 days. And at the end of the deferral period, if the person has met all the conditions, then the judge obligates, in this case, herself to sign a dismissal. And the way that you get to a deferred in a Class C court is you can ask the judge or you can ask the prosecutor. With the judge, it's guilty or no contest. I'd like a deferred. With the prosecutor who you will meet with this morning, you are welcome to have that discussion. But a deferred does keep the item off your record. There will be things to do, but they're minimal. They're mostly don't get more tickets, keep your address current, don't get arrested, don't get warrants. We have to sort out fines and costs. Sometimes there's a class, a record, an item to provide. Okay. And I'm allowed to impose those as long as it's a reasonable sentence. But the trick in the Class C court is you request it. And if the judge says yes, then we do that. And if the judge says no, then it's off the table. And then the fourth option is teen court. And correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I don't see any high school students, so I'm not really going to go into that. But it looks a bit like a deferred. There are things to do. But mostly we meet with students here in the courtroom. So I'm not surprised if I don't see students today. Okay, so those are the 4 dismissal options. Let me know if you have questions about them. I can't advise you or tell you what you should do in your case or listen to your facts and give you an opinion. If you want to get a legal opinion, you can meet with an attorney of your choice prior to your plea being accepted by the court. And the opportunity to do that is right out the bat. I mean, hopefully it hasn't been waived already, but if you're thinking you want to do that, then you just say, Judge, I need some time, and we'll reschedule your case for another day. In the Class C court, the chief thing to understand is that we don't court appoint counsel, but we do give you an opportunity to meet with an attorney of your choice. And that is taking a break on the case and coming back on a different day. Okay, so that's kind of the 101. I want to go ahead and check in on the Polzing case with attorneys Matson and Swain. Can y'all tell me if we could both unmute and just let me know where we are on that matter? It's a single charge of failing to yield at a stop intersection, and this is dating from August 15th of 2023. The fines and costs are $269. Where are we, folks?
Your Honor, Mr. Swain's going to take an offer back to his client, so we'll reconvene at a later date, but possibly resolve it before then.
Okay, do we want to come back onto the Zoom docket?
That will be fine, Judge. Yeah.
Okay.
I have no objection to that, Your Honor, whichever is easier for Mr. Swain.
Okay. He's very good about actually logging in, so I'm not concerned. Could we look at the How about the 21st of November?
That will work for me, Your Honor.
That works for me as well, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll send that reset over. I'm just making a note for the clerk. And Mr. Swain, can we use the email that you've provided for the court to send
Yes,
that?
Your Honor.
Okay,
Yes, thank you.
all right, then if you don't have anything further or any questions, you're free to go with the thanks of the court.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Matson, I'm going to move you over. Your next person is Mr. Higginbotham. Mr. Higginbotham, can you get on screen, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hi there. Where are you on the screen? There you are. Okay. And so I just want to point out that there are two cases pending. One is an insurance charge and one is a pretrial on a speeding charge. And I have not yet visited with him on the insurance charge. Mr. Matson, if you choose to address that, you may. If you decide to let me address that, that's fine as well.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, I will move y'all over to that meeting. And Mr. Higginbotham, at the end of y'all's discussion, first of all, please remember Mr. Matson represents the state of Texas and not yourself. Probably everybody's grasping that, but I just want to make sure everyone's clear. After that discussion, y'all will come back into this room and I have just some parting words for you before you go today. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Okay. Believe it or not, we have a very short docket today. And y'all are all waiting for Mr. Matson. Unless anyone here happens to have Gregory McBride with them. Y'all are all logged in for the pretrial. I have business with Mr. McBride, but he appears to be craving a warrant instead. So yeah, you have to appear, you know. And when people don't appear, well, that's the only time you get warrants. Maybe that's him. There he is. Running late. Better late than warranted, I'd say. Okay. Oops, didn't work out. I think he might be having technological trouble. Mr. McBride, if you are hearing us, otherwise, please try again. Hi, Mr. McBride, can you hear me? I don't show your audio connected just yet. Mr. McBride, your audio is not connected. Okay. You'll have to mute. Mr. McBride? Can you unmute?
Am I unmuted now?
You
Your
are.
Honor?
You are.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Judge Person.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Yes, Your Honor.
So I did receive the information that you supplied to the court.
Yes,
Just-
ma'am.
Just to be clear, there was a red light accusation from September 22nd.
Mhm.
Fines and costs are $269. You did plead no contest and ask to discuss your options. I'm
Yes.
assuming that you were having difficulty with technology this morning. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've had some problems. I was, I'm a teacher, so I was involved in a class, so I had to try to get my computer together. Just had a little problems. But did you need me to tell you about the incident, Your Honor, or did you?
I mean,
Well-
I'm not really able to try the case. I can accept your plea. I can listen to the incident, but I can't listen and find you not guilty.
Right, I
I have to
understand.
go on the plea that you've given,
Yeah,
which is no contest.
yes,
Is that
Well-
your plea? Is that your plea at this time?
yes.
Okay. Are there things you feel like I need to know besides I do see that you're a CDL holder?
Yeah, that was what the problem. It was just a strange incident. I had got off on where I was going, and my mind just assumed because that I was at a stop sign, and I looked both ways and I drove away because it was kind of a side street. I didn't even realize I had ran a red light. But besides that, what I didn't understand was before the year 2015, I taught over in Belton and I only had the CDL license because they could not keep bus drivers. So they wanted the teachers to drive. And then in 2015, I left Belton and came to Temple ISD, and I've been teaching over here, and I don't drive. I have the license, but I don't drive. And I hadn't, if you look at my record, I haven't had a ticket in, I don't know, it could be 20 years. I don't know. But the lady said I could not go to defensive driving, and I just wanted to know if she said I would have to talk to the judge to find out if I had any other options because I don't drive anymore. I haven't drove since I was in Belton. I'm in Temple ISD teaching, and I don't drive here. They needed drivers in Belton, but they don't really have teacher drivers here. So I haven't driven in years, and I just didn't understand why I can't go to defensive driving.
Okay. First, I want to say thank you for the service that you provide the community.
Yes, ma'am.
And
You're
we
welcome.
certainly, the thought that we ask teachers to also drive the bus is just, wow.
Yes.
I mean, I
Yeah.
understand it. I don't fault the school district for that, but I
Yes.
just think that we should cherish our teachers. My
Yeah.
mother taught for 39 years.
Right, right.
So the CDL thing, so here's the reason, the conundrum is that the law changed, and it changed
Mhm.
really over a period of years, but I've
Mhm.
watched this happen because I'm
Mhm.
older. And I've watched this unfold with time that,
Mhm.
Initially they were saying the law became that, you couldn't take the course if you had a CDL at all at
Mhm.
the time of the,
Okay.
when you appear in court.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so a lot of what happened there was a lot of CDL drivers, not yourself. I'm just giving you a history because we have time and you asked. So, people would come in, they would go surrender their CDL license. They
Mhm.
would come sign up, they'd get the course done, and then they'd go get their CDL license again.
Mhm.
So, which is really subverting the intention of that law. So the legislature came back and said, okay, if you had a CDL at the time of the stop or at the time that you appear in court,
Mhm.
you're disallowed. And even if I tried to go around it because you seem like a nice person and your record, I'm taking you at your word that your record is good.
Yeah, if you look at, if you put
No,
my
I
record up,
understand.
you'll
I
see.
understand. I understand. But what I'm saying is, if that's 100% true, and I'm assuming it is, I'm still not allowed to do it because the law actually says the judge is not allowed to allow it, basically.
Mhm.
So I don't have options for CDL holders other than, they're allowed to make a payment. We have other options like a deferred disposition, but a deferred disposition is also prohibited as a sentence for a CDL holder. Even if they were operating their personal
Yeah.
vehicle at the
Yeah.
time that they were accused of the offense.
Okay, so basically, since I have CDL license, I guess you're saying we're held to a different standard?
Yes.
By having the license? Okay.
Yeah, because you took that specialized knowledge test, basically,
Mhm.
in the traffic laws. And that may have been 20 years
Mhm.
ago, but
Yeah.
because you have that specialized license,
Mhm.
the standard is a different standard.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hate it because I have to
Mhm.
tell people all the time. And, again, I watched it evolve. So there was actually a period of time, you
Mhm.
sort of reminded me that, or the discussion did, that if you were in your personal vehicle and you were a CDL holder, you could
Mhm.
do it. But they came back and said no. And, to be fair,
Mhm.
some of as when a CDL holder is driving a big piece of machinery and they're in, like, let's say Dallas, and that's a big area and you've got a lot of people crammed together and they have an
Yeah.
accident, the tragedies are big. And in looking at those tragedies as a group, what the traffic safety people said was, they had a lot of breaks beforehand, the people who created those situations. So they went to the recommendation in the DPS world was to go to a zero tolerance policy.
Okay.
Now, will they take your license away? Well, they won't. If they did, you would get a regular license. But I'll be honest with you, I really don't know, and I can't advise you about what will happen to your CDL. I know that CDL holders are in here all the time. They may have a company that they're driving for that won't allow them to have a conviction, and they're very
Right.
concerned about it. And I hear the concerns that they have in their voice. It doesn't sound like that's your situation. It sounds to me
No.
like you just want to stay a person with a good record because you've had a good
Well,
record.
yeah, but also because I am a teacher, I've just kept the CDL license because if there was ever a situation where they needed me or to drive a bus,
Mhm.
I would be able to if we ever came. But I'm not an active driver. I haven't drove, I know, since over 2015, since the year 2015.
Well, I don't know what they'll do with your CDL. They may not do anything. But I do know that multiple convictions for the CDL holder it becomes, but it's outside my lane of,
Okay.
we're getting outside of what I get to do here.
I
I
understand.
don't do the CDL suspension program.
Mhm.
We report convictions to DPS, we're required to by law.
Mhm.
And what they do with it then becomes a conversation that you have with them.
Okay.
So the only thing I can do a couple things today. One is to just offer you to pay a payment plan. It could be, you had mentioned on here paying, maybe the low end was $25 to $40 a month. I don't have a problem approving that.
Mhm.
If you wish to meet with an attorney of your choice before you get started and you want to get some legal advice, I can delay your case today and let you do that. If you just want to get online and get information, you can. It doesn't obligate you to hire an attorney. We
Okay.
don't court appoint counsel in Class C courts, but I could give you a break to go get information before I enter a conviction and accept your plea, or accept your plea and enter a conviction.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
the question is,
Well,
you want
I'm
to do,
just worried, well, since I can't go to the driving course or anything, so in other words, is it gonna stay on my record? I mean, I'm
so
just,
the
I don't know.
question, yeah,
Because
you're
I'm
gonna
the only
have to
person where,
stop talking to let me answer questions.
oh, I'm sorry.
It's kind of a rule I have. So,
Yes. Okay.
so as far as like your record, I can't really address your record. If I enter a conviction, it goes on your record. I mean, then the question becomes, for what purpose are we talking? If we're talking about a job application at a gas station, that job may or McDonald's, those jobs probably don't look very deeply. If we're talking about an FBI high clearance background check to drive, the president motorcade, that's a different story. So it really depends on who's looking and why. And again, beyond this comment or this, statement, we're really moving into a lane that is not mine. So I'm going to stay in my lane on this. But what I'll say to you is, it really, in terms of your record, it really depends on who's looking and why. And so I can't really wade into that for you, other than to say, I'm allowed to accept your plea, enter a conviction, report it to DPS, and give you a payment plan. If you want to reset and come back a different day and meet with an attorney of your choice, you can. But I'm not permitted to give you a deferred disposition or a driving safety course option. The legislation is such that CDL holders do not have those options at
I
all.
understand. Well, would I just be able to go to the court where this was all set up at the municipal court and do the payment plan? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like to set it up for $25 a month? And then if you want to pay more, you can.
Well, I would pay I was going to pay like 100 down if and then pay the rest out in payments.
Sure. Now, if you need more than 30 days, there's a $15 fee that's mandated by law that attaches to that payment plan.
Okay.
But I don't have a problem doing $25 a month after the $100 down, if you would like to do that.
Yes.
And then what time can you come by today to sign that?
It would be after, I'll try to get out after the buses run today, probably between 3. I'm assuming they don't close before 5, somewhere between probably 3 and 5 after buses run, I would be able to go over.
Let's shoot for before 4:30, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
If you walk in at 5, everybody's got to wait to cash out.
Right.
And
Yes.
report. So, okay, I put a note down that you're going to do that today, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. McBride, thank
Yes.
you. Sorry that the information is what it is, but
Yeah,
that's the status of the law at this time.
I understand.
Okay, thank you. You had good questions, though.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Mattson, I know that you were talking with Mr. Higginbotham. Where are we on his case that was before you?
Your Honor, if you could get moved back over first.
Oh,
just
yes,
wanted to
I'm
make sure
sorry.
any ex parte.
Of course. Okay. Okay, where are we on Mr. Higginbotham's cases? Mr. Mattson, can I hear from you?
Your Honor, if we could get actually both of his cases reset to, I don't know, at least 2 weeks out from now.
Okay,
He has an offer to consider, and I also wanted to give him some time to provide some paperwork to the court.
okay. I can reset for this online pretrial for November 7th. Is that good for both of you?
That works for me, Your Honor. Mr. Higginbotham, you're on mute right now.
Oh yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Sure. If this format is working, we might as well continue to use it. So Mr. Higginbotham, we will send that reset to the email that we used to set up today's meeting. Will that work for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will let you go at this time and we will email that to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mr. Mattson, moving you forward, your next person is Tanner Wynn. Tanner Wynn, let's make sure your audio is working.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello,
I
Your
can.
Honor.
Thank you. Yes, I can. Let me move you over to that meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Miss Bentley would be next. I'm not sure. It looks like the original and Mr. Higginbotham, the payment financial affidavit is on the back. So. Folks, you're all waiting for Mr. Matson, which is no problem, but I'm just going to grab some paperwork and be right back. Mm. Mm. The court of judgment involved. This was on the village. Said you have. Yes. It was actually. Might have just been looking. This is the one I came with. But that one is full. I got one case for I was. They don't have a, teacher on site like this. Made the cookies. Okay, Mr. Mattson. Where are we with regard to Mr. Wynn's case? And Mr. Wynn, I'll hear from you in just a moment.
Your Honor, Mr. Wynn and I have reached an agreement on deferral terms. Those terms are going to be a 120-day period with a 6-hour course by day 60. And the fine would be broken up into 3 installments of $95 by the end of the first 30 days, and then $95 30 days after that, and then $94 30 days after that. And he indicated he may finish those payments earlier, but that is the structure I would set up for the time being.
Okay. Let's see. Let me just spell this out for everybody so that we're on the same page. Let's see. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so from today until the deferral would run from today until February 22nd. A driver safety course being due on December 28th. The first payment of $95 on November 27th. The second payment on December 28th with the course at the same time. And then the final payment on January 24th. Is that what everybody thinks is happening?
That tracks,
When
Your
was that? Oh, I'm sorry. When was that first date?
Right, so you mean on payment,
Yeah, the first payment, the first installment.
November 27th.
Okay,
So I'm actually going to put this all in writing. I'm just making sure we're all on the same page. And if that's basically what y'all are agreeing to, then I'll go ahead and get that paperwork ready.
I
that's my
think the
understanding,
20,
Your Honor.
yeah, I think the 27th would be okay.
Okay, I mean, today's the 24th, so that's actually a little bit longer than 30 days. The reason that it's the 27th is I like to put it on a day where I'm available to, if there are questions or issues. So I just traditionally follow a structure like that. And I don't want to schedule people, on a holiday. So,
Yeah, I understand.
okay, if I email this deferral order to you, can you print it and sign it and email it back?
Would I just take a picture of the paper and email it to you, or am I?
I'll accept that as long as it's your signature on there
Yes.
and I can
Okay.
read.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so we'll email you a copy of the order here shortly. And I'll need it back today, okay?
Okay.
We'll also include information for how to find the proper course, okay? Excuse me, okay?
Gotcha. No, you're okay.
Yes, okay, so we will send that on to you. You're good to go,
Alright.
Mr. Wynn.
Thank you very much.
If you run into any questions, you can always call a clerk. If the clerk can't answer, they will get the question or they will show you what you need to do to get the question to me, okay?
Okay. Oh,
Thank you. Yes,
I'm sorry. One more question, and I don't know if you can answer it. I'm not 100% sure.
I'll tell you.
I guess my main concern was trying to keep this off of my insurance. Do you know if this would, taking this driver safety course would essentially help me keep this off of my insurance record? Or is that
So-
something you can answer?
So the whole deferral process is a process of gaining a dismissal.
Okay.
And at the end, instead of signing a conviction, I sign a dismissal.
Okay. Perfect.
So
I just wanted to see.
Yeah, I mean, we do have to, just like there is a record of the stop, it's not invisible.
Yeah.
There's a record of the deferral, but it results in a dismissal.
Okay. I just wanted to verify. I'm just trying to keep it off my insurance. I don't mind paying the ticket. I just wanted to make sure that was my intention.
Well, I can answer that it will be a dismissal.
Gotcha.
I can't answer what your private contract.
Yes, I understand.
Company is, but, and
Yes.
that's legal advice and I can't give it to you, but
Yeah, I
think
got you.
that At the end of the deferral, if you do the things that the deferral says, then you gain a dismissal.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your help.
Thank you. We'll look to get that document back from you today.
Okay, I'll send it over as soon as I get it. Thank you.
You,
I can leave the call now?
you can,
Okay, just wanted to verify.
of
Thank
course.
you.
Thank you. Monica Bentley, you are next to speak with the prosecutor. You are unmuted. Can we hear you?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Great. Yes, I can hear you. Perfect. Let me move you over to that meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. On the single charge of driving while license invalid, where are we on Monica Bentley's case?
We'll go ahead and get a reset date, Your Honor, but that case will almost certainly be resolved prior to then.
Okay. I'm gonna reset onto the pretrial Zoom docket then, so that we're not taking space where we don't need to. If I set on the 21st of November, is that acceptable for both of you?
Yes, Your Honor, that should be plenty of time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ma'am, can we use the email that we used to set up today's meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then. So that is our plan of attack, and therefore, Ms. Bentley, you are excused with the thanks of the court. Do you have any further questions?
I do not. Thank you, ma'am.
You'll receive a new link, and then if the case is fully resolved, I will cancel that link, but double check and make sure before you assume we don't have court, okay?
Of course. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
You too. Mr. Matson, I'm moving you forward with Marcus Griffith. Mr. Griffith, can you unmute, please? You'll need to, you have audio, but it's very faint. Can you turn it up?
This is about as best I can do. I can just put my mouth up to my speaker. I think it's a malfunction on my phone.
Okay, I can hear you now, or I did. So I'll just let you move forward with the meeting, okay?
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Okay, where are we on the Griffin case?
So I've decided to go ahead and change my plea to no contest and see about the possibility of setting up for the defensive driving course at a later date.
Okay, does the state have any objection to defensive driving in this case?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Griffith, you're changing your plea to no contest, is that correct?
Yes, Judge, that's correct.
Okay, do you have a Texas driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and it's up to date,
Yes, ma'am.
and you have current up-to-date insurance?
I'm pretty sure I do. Yes, ma'am.
Have you been to a driver safety course in the last 12 months for purposes of getting a ticket dismissed?
No, ma'am.
Okay, your court costs, I believe, are 144. I'm double checking. And in order to start the driving safety course process, we have to figure out what date you're paying that. What date can you pay that in looking at your calendar?
1 second. Just let me check my calendar real quick.
Sure. Okay.
I'm probably looking at around November 6th. That should be that Monday.
Okay, so I just need you to come in, or I need to email you and have you email back with your signature an extension to that date. And I need to collect that signature today. Are you gonna come by the court or should I be emailing you?
Preferably email, please.
Okay, can I use the email that we used to set up the meeting today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We will send that out shortly and have you, you'll have to, print it, sign it and email it back, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Sounds good.
Okay, we'll send that out to you shortly.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. You're good to go. Monica Brackett, can you unmute and get on screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm going to send you over to that meeting with Mr. Mattson.
Thank you.
Thank you. On Mr. Griffith, we're emailing to him to extend for driving safety course sign up. He changed his plea to no contest. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see.
Would you reboot?
Not right now. Yeah. I understand they have to check off that box, but we're having technical problems during court.
It's actually, I think like there's some kind of virus.
Uh-oh.
When I look at that, all paperwork, everything went black.
I do think, yeah, you'll have to reboot to see what happens, but that's not a good sign. Okay, we have two charges. Where are we with these matters?
Apologies, Your Honor. You said there were two?
There are now, one of them set for today, and I just realized the other one is scheduled for tomorrow for court. So like a plea, a plea has not yet been entered on that case. So it doesn't necessarily need to be addressed. I just spoke before I looked.
Well, my recommendation, Your Honor, would be that Miss Brackett be granted community service. I believe she is eligible for that based on her payment application.
Has the plea changed from not guilty to no contest?
Yes. Oh,
Well, Your Honor, I was
Sorry.
going to say that the community service hours would be attached to a deferral.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you.
Is this on the insurance charge?
It is, Your Honor. I was not aware that there was a second charge.
Ms. Brackett, there is also the failing to yield at the yield intersection. Do you have a sense of where you're trying to go with that case?
Well, whenever I talked to the lady at the district clerk, she told me once we know what my deal is from today, then she would be able to assist me on what steps I need to take for tomorrow.
So that's not really something that she would have been trained to say to you. So
Or
I
not.
really know.
That's I don't know how to say it in the exact words she said, but she basically said that to wait and see what the outcome is for today, to work with for tomorrow.
What
I
are you
don't-
trying to do with that case?
I mean, I'm gonna plead guilty for it because I mean,
Sorry, I thought you weren't finished speaking.
oh yeah, I mean, for that incident, for the failed yield. Honestly, I don't believe I was wrong, but I'm not gonna fight it. I'm just gonna plead not guilty or plead guilty.
Okay, so you're pleading guilty to that charge?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the insurance case, Mr. Matson is recommending that the case go into a deferral, it's a little more that we have to get done to do that, but we can roll it all together as far as the community service hours go.
That would be amazing.
And then, because I do agree that that's the appropriate step to take on any money that would be owed to the court. And so if I roll all both cases together, just in terms of that community service time, it's 28 hours of community service. And that's going to be 14 on each case. And
Okay.
And then we'll have a due date. If Mr. Matson, if you don't have any objection, I would do 60 days on the due date just to get both sets of hours.
No objection, Your Honor.
And then the deferral would run from today until February 23rd, I believe, 21st. Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter is that a weekend?
No, it just won't go, the 22nd is actually.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, but okay, so till the 21st, from today till February 21st, you're on a deferral, and I'm going to need a signature on a document today for that. I also need
Okay.
to sign and pick up some information for your community service. But from today, you would be on a deferral, at the end of which time the insurance charge would be dismissed. And you would provide, I believe, insurance. Are you asking for insurance from the state?
I'm not, Your Honor. The circumstances were that she was in another vehicle. That's not hers.
Okay. All right. So you're not making that request at this time?
I'm not.
Okay. So from today until February 21st, you're on a deferred. You can get no more tickets, excluding the two that you have before the court right now. You can get no further tickets. No
That's
arrests, no failures to appear. Your community service is due December 28th, and that is a condition of the dismissal in the end. Okay, so you'll need to get real clear about that. I see that you're in Holland.
No, actually, that's an old address.
Okay, when you come by the court today, you'll need to change your address. What time can you be here?
Probably in the next couple hours.
Okay, well, right now it's 10:20, so let's say 1:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so everything will be at the front desk for you. And when you come in, you'll come in, it'll only take about 5 minutes once you get here. And you'll get a copy of everything. You'll have a copy of your deferred. You'll have a list of places where you can do the community service. You'll have a
Okay.
time sheet to keep track of your hours. And you'll have a list of court rules, my requirements in order to accept your community service, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And I'll just make a note here that you're gonna do a change of address.
Okay.
And then you have a duty to keep your address current with the court until your case is dismissed, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes.
So since we combined it together, do I have to go do the court tomorrow?
No.
Okay.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
we'll see you around 1:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye.